Hi everyone, it's been a long time that I want to record some videos and share my some of my thoughts about the world or about a certain aspect of an industry or anything. And so today we're going to talk about why internet companies are either not doing well or they're banned in China. So internet firms, especially those coming from USA, such as Facebook, Amazon, eBay, etc. Those firms are banned in China, and so the first reason is because it's politically related. And there is no doubt that is a large amount of content that is against the Chinese government's ideology, and which the local government doesn't want to see. For example, there's many videos posted in YouTube talking about the bad things that the Chinese government has done, which means the Chinese government doesn't want the local people to see. However, I have to point it out. Aside from that, is there is a large of content of fake news also existing on Facebook and many social media. I think that's one of the reason why a Chinese government wants to ban them. Sorry about my English. So obviously, for any government, if people creating fake news, they should get banned. However, why these firms are banned by the Chinese government is not because they're talking about bad things about the government. I think it's largely to do with the fake news. Give you just one example. In few years ago, I think in 2008 or 2009, in Tibet, in Xizang, in China, there was a large amount of local people launched riots, in the local city and killed many, predominantly Han Chinese people. And there is a large amount of content on YouTube which are fake news, and they Photoshop the images and claiming that it's the Chinese government trying to kill them. However, the real truth is that some of the local people, they become extremists, become sort of terrorists, and they kill other people. So, but again, who is responsible for that? YouTube has never said anything about deleting those contents, which I feel it's very irresponsible. If I'm the Chinese government leader, I would ban them straight away. There is no doubt, like similar to what Donald Trump is going to do. He's going to stop some people coming in. If the company talking about fake news, he will prosecute the company, which is the right thing. And obviously, it is to do with politics that some of the stuff is against the Chinese government's ideology. And but there isn't a government that is perfect, putting it that way. And the second reason why many firms are banned is because obviously the Chinese government they want to support local businesses. However, I have to point it out, in the first few years of those business launch in China, they're not banned. Amazon was not banned. Google, Yahoo, eBay, all of them now they're not banned. They are banned is because the Chinese government. You have every single government is looking at whether you can generate profits, whether you can help the company to develop. If you can't help them to develop, what's the point of keeping you in a country that you're going to exploit the roles in here? So the second reason is they don't generate what the Chinese government they want. They want help local people become more educated, such as you can get more train more programmers, develop the internet technology in China. So, but the many firms they're not going to devote that into China. I mean, Microsoft is a good example. Microsoft spends a lot of money into education, into finance, into medical engineering in China. I think Bill Gates has done a good job. That's why they have been running business in China for a long time. And so whereas the other side, Facebook or Google, if they're just looking at how to get a large amount of data or get users, and I think that's a wrong way of looking at getting into China. And also, aside from that, I have to mention is how to say just one example. Europe is such a big continent. It's not small, with a fair amount of population. However, you can see if you are from Europe, there is no your own independent Amazon-like firm. And most of technology firms in Europe are from America, and sometimes I think it's not the right way. And many people, I think, in Europe, that's just my understanding. If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments. And but I think when people use Facebook in Europe, they will think Facebook is a tool for them. However, I have to argue that because those firms, they obviously let's say Facebook, they come into the market, but what happened to the control? So there is no control at all. Let's say recently, many government, German government, British government, they're talking about how Facebook would help them, to fight against extremists. And but it's very difficult to do that in Europe, because many firms are irresponsible for instance like this. So I think that's why Chinese government, they ban it. It's because first, those firms are not gonna is not generating enough benefits to the Chinese people and also to the Chinese government governance. And the third reason why the firms are banned, and also why some of the firms are not doing very well. A very good example is Uber. Many people would think, many Chinese companies, they just copy Western companies. Alibaba just copy, just very similar of Amazon. I have to point out, if you think in that way, that is very, very wrong. And I have been using eBay for a large amount of time. If you have ever used eBay compared with Alibaba or JD, and you could find out many American companies, their designs are not as good, or you can say as sophisticated as the Chinese. The Chinese companies, they're doing a very, very good job in terms of their website design, their app designs. They have really spent a large amount of time to develop, to get it right. And let's say Uber, the example I want to say is they are not banned in China, but compare with the local hiring company Didi, which is I would say the world number 2 car hiring company now. So Uber, to begin with, is one individual app. I have used both app, Didi and Uber. So what's the strategy that Didi is applying in the Chinese market is adoption. So if you look at American firms, many of them, they adopt the same website design, the same, everything is the same throughout the world. There is no any changes made tailored to a specific country. same as Uber, there is no specific change apart from changing English into Chinese, which is very easy. Whereas the Chinese companies, they really think about the Chinese people's habits, how you can especially if you are doing a taxi hiring company, how you locate them, how you help the users save more money, etc. So Uber has lagged behind, and also Uber is as I said, it's an individual app, which means the user has to download it, and which for me at that time we already use WeChat, which is the Western media is going to call WhatsApp similar app. And so Didi is teamed up with WeChat, which is the largest social media, which means you can hire your taxi on WeChat and at the same time using Didi's service. And also Didi allows you to ride the taxi without paying. So if you have no money in your app now, you can still take a taxi back home, and then if you want to use it next time, you can use it as long as you top it up. And however, on contrary, Uber, I find the annoying thing is that to register Uber, you have to use your phone number. However, if the phone number has already registered once, if you download the Uber on another phone, you can log in, because basically it's one phone number and one app, which is insane. Whereas Didi is, as long as you have one account, or as long as you log into WeChat, and you can use this app pretty much every time, and by as long as you got this app. So it's a different strategy. Let's say I can use my mom's I can't use my mom's Uber, and or if I don't have a Chinese phone number, I can't use Uber at all. Whereas for Didi, I can have my WeChat, use it through my WeChat account, or I can register by using my phone number, or I can register account in Didi, which is fairly simple. And so to sum up, the reason why many foreign firms, they're not doing well in China, the first I have to point out is customization, is how you look into the Chinese consumers, what they want and what can you offer. For example, eBay, there is if you have used eBay, you can see how bad it is. There is no updates. There is no communication between you. Let's say if you bump into a problem, it's very difficult to get it solved, because it's all centralized in Silicon Valley. However, the Chinese firm, they're looking at a different strategy, which I think is very beneficial to the local people. And it's the same with Amazon compared with Alibaba. Alibaba has spent a large amount of time to tailor, to make the system easier to use. No, Amazon is easy to use, but it's not, I think, at the same level as Alibaba. And so next time, if people ask you, if you talk about why these firms are banned in China, I hope you don't just think because Chinese government, they want their local business to grow, so they ban them, or because Facebook, they have a sensitive materials against the government. We have but now you at least understand there's a large amount of content which are fake news, and also the designs of those companies, websites, apps are not suitable for the Chinese, and and also it's not as well designed as many Chinese firms. And the other reason is those many foreign firms, I think is this ideology they have. You can't just go to a country with a long history, and also people thinking a different way as the Westerners. You just want to go into the market, make the money, and go. It's not the case. However, there's still many firms that doing very well, companies doing very well, like Microsoft. They've been in China for many years, so it's a good example. And also many other foreign car brands like Germans, BMW, Volkswagen. They are the first amount of people to go into the market. Really helped the Chinese manufacturing, really helped generating more jobs. And that's why you can see, Volkswagen, they're doing very well in China. However, you can't compare with many British firms such as Land Rover, Jaguar. Maybe they're not as big as the Germans. However, they really lack of proper strategy, really lack of customization to the local market, and I hope that would change. Obviously, we want to, as a Chinese, we want to see more foreign car companies coming to the market and compete with each other, which is a huge benefit for the local people who want to buy many foreign cars. I think that's it of today. And sorry about the video quality, and this is my first video talking about this. I hope I will make a better video next time. Thank you.